Hey guys, welcome back to another commentary from a national champion. Um, Been a couple of days since I uploaded the last one, and we had a pretty cool response. So thank you so much for 170 subscribers. That's really cool. Again, I know it's not the most in regards to like YouTubers, the ones that have millions of subscribers, but I mean it's a jiu-jitsu channel, and I only kind of did this for me and for my learning. The fact that 170 of you wanna join in and listen to me analyze is pretty cool to me. And as I said last time, it were like imagining an auditorium, like a lecture hall. There's 170 people wanting to sit in and listen to me talk about jiu-jitsu, so that's pretty neat. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. I wanted to get to 100 when I first started, and now we're on almost 200, so that's pretty cool. So I'm going to cover, I will cover probably most of these final matches, actually. That seems like a pretty good sort of source material, but the one I wanted to cover was the finals of the absolute male open weight. I never heard of either of these guys, but Roberto, the natural, ends up winning, I believe, and I believe that's him with the Afro. I like his Afro already. And I saw like the highlight reel on the IBJJF Facebook page, and I just wanted to cover it because it looked intense. I don't know how long it's going to take, so just bear with me. So it looks like we have Roberto Jimenez and Roosevelt Souza. Oh, sorry, I'm going to close my Facebook because I forgot that was open, and we will go from there. So we're going to looks like we have Studio 76 Jiu-Jitsu in Las Vegas, and then Fight Sports Jiu-Jitsu. Obviously one's in Las Vegas, and I don't know where Fight Sports is. Personally, I've never heard of either of these guys, so I don't know what to expect, and I'm excited to cover some new guys rather than, Gordon Ryan and Merengali. And so the match starts. Ref is checking those hand wraps. Obviously, already those are an advantage. In no-gi, those are a huge advantage because they give you a lot of grip. Geez, Souza looks like a big boy, doesn't he? Looks like a big boy. But those hand wraps here, I feel like would give a lot of advantage, but it speaks also to the amount of training that Roberto would have to go through, because he would be, hurting his hands doing jiu-jitsu. There's a cost to pay for anything you do, and that just is one of his. Yeah, so it looks from that posturing by Souza, you can see he was like leaning off center, and he had his hands like really far forwards, and he was like crouching low. So that already tells me that he doesn't want to have guard pulled on him because he's trying to go lower than the other person. And it implies to me that as soon as he gets a grip, he wants to sit down. As soon as it's safe to do so, and he just allows himself to sit down with a snap down. So he's definitely a bottom player, and he looks very relaxed. So he allowed that grip on his ankle, and I don't think you should just be allowing things like this for free, to be honest with you, because that was allowed for free, and it speaks to his confidence that he'll be able to get out of blitz passing. So I like to call those skill checks. It's like if you're paying attention, you'll stop me, but if you're not, I'm going to pass your guard. It also speaks to maybe a confidence in his strength and ability to bench press the other person off the top, which would speak to incorrect technique. Do you know what I mean? You would never allow this for free with, say, Gordon Ryan, because you just get absolutely smashed on, and Gordon would circle the corner and then smash into a hip control. But Roberto doesn't do that, and you can see how Souza was looking for that inside hook So we back up again. You see how he was looking for this inside hook. So this is so like he's on his side now. He's going to be going forwards with this hand if he was given the opportunity to hook and then go into leg entanglements. Oh, sorry, he's got the hook, grab with the hand, go into leg entanglements. But it doesn't work out because Roberto steps out of it. So they're just dancing around each other, range finding. I'm really liking what I was seeing there in terms of the distance management with Roberto. So right here, look how far away he is. He's quite far away, and he's not stepped in here with his feet, which is a mistake that a lot of people would make, because they just want to like get into the match, but that's not what you do really if you want to be quite good, which obviously both of these guys are, because one of them's now a world champion and the other one's second place to the world champion. You know, these guys are 1 and 2 respectively. This is the distance that you need so that you don't just get lifted into leg entanglements. And you see how, yeah, he allows the grip again. And he's just, Souza is not panicked, you know. Roberto's looking for an opening here, always looking to put him on his back. That little leg weave was gorgeous. Love this. So this hook in here, watch what Roberto does with his right leg. Ready? Just steps off the top. Just get rid of whatever's annoying you. Don't try and deal with it, just get rid of it. Step off the top. It's a really, really good strategy, because it stops you from wasting energy unnecessarily. So he goes, and he tries to jump in on that J line, or the Jeopardy line, or the hips. I call it the hips, my coach calls it the J line now. I believe John Danaher calls it the J line as well, and John Danaher's probably someone to listen to because he produces a lot of world champions. But now we're into like a no-gi version of the De La Riva, which is a pretty disconnected sort of position. It's not something that you would generally see, you know, because it is very hard to hold on. But we've got the Marcelo type wrap, like 2-on-1 grip, and they go into like this no-gi version of the De La Riva, where Souza is holding on. But you see the other leg is not connected to the hip. And it's very hard usually to control this grip in no-gi because obviously you're sweaty. But because of those hand wraps, I feel like it's relatively easy because that would allow the friction, which actually... as a side note, I try not to get too distracted, but it would make no-gi grappling very interesting if everyone had friction gloves. But then the joke becomes, well, we'll just add more friction by having them wear some kind of, you know, long leg pants that add more friction, and then we'll make them wear some kind of jacket to have more friction again, so that it's a bit easier to grab onto each other. And what we'll do is, because the jacket will flap everywhere, we'll just make them wear a belt. And so like it's one of those ones where no-gi is exciting because of the lack of friction. So we're into this no-gi version of the De La Riva, and you could see that hook was going through to the opposite hip because Souza looked like he wanted to try and invert or get behind Roberto. Now, the problem with the De La Riva in no-gi is this exact action that we just saw happen. Where Roberto smashes that knee in between, and now he's threatening this knee to come in and like collapse his weight, but Souza has a strong frame, so it's a little bit harder. And you can see how Roberto tried to knee cut to his left, but this grip on his ankle is stopping that currently. And I do love how relaxed Souza seems to be. He's just not panicked. So Roberto tries to bail out of it. Souza tries to follow him. Ooh, very nice. The ref's in the way, so I didn't really catch what happened there. Yes, Roberto's trying to bail out of it, but Souza's doing a really good job of A, staying connected, and B, following up with like seated position. And then Roberto gets free of the legs, sees a opportunity to smash down, and he goes for it. And now he's in like a north-south, but exactly what I was talking about before. Look at this bullshit. Look at this fucking rubbish. This is what happens. Oh, I don't want to get too worked up over this, but this is exactly what happens when you have cunts that are fucking on gear and then just like rely on brute strength. This guy is like 100 kg. It's like 220 pound, and he's doing a single arm fucking bench press bridge to push him off the top. That's just not possible. Obviously without a prodigious amount of strength, and this speaks to really bad technique. This is not good technique. This is not what you should be doing. You should be focusing on underhooks. Of course, strength plays a huge factor, and if you can get away with this, happy days. But if you got someone that's really skilled, and we'll see this, that's a huge waste of energy, and you shouldn't be doing this. And you see how it didn't really work because Roberto balanced really, really well. So he's low, and then Souza does a bench press, tries to get onto his side so he can shrimp out, but you see how Roberto rolled his hips in. Let's watch it again. Oh. Sorry, 1 second. How do I get rid of this? There we go. Sorry, 1 second. I forgot my own keybinds. So Roberto rolled his hips in, as you can see, and then stepped his leg down and just followed that wrist, and now he's collapsed the frame, and now all of a sudden this is very hard for Souza to continue. And because he's so attached to the hips, he's pushing himself in, and now it's very hard to keep going. And Souza wants to wrestle up, which he manages to do so. Ooh, very good. Souza wants to wrestle up, which he manages to do so, but it's a huge waste of energy. So he looked for that inside hook to grab on. Roberto is threatening the guillotine, and he's blocking the hips with his hand. So there's a lot going on because this is a scramble. He's basing pretty heavy, and he's trying to keep his hips flat. The more you can keep your hips flat or rolled into the frame, the harder it is for the person on bottom. And then he tries to transition to the back, but Souza manages to posture up, turn in with him, and get this underhook. So he stops it. And then he goes for the inversion. Roberto tries to bail out. Souza goes for the inversion, maybe for like a leg lock. He misses it because Roberto's already on the bike. He read the situation really well and wrenched his leg out. And then Roberto goes in for the smash because he thought he saw an opportunity, but there wasn't really an opportunity there because of that inside leg. I'll show you. This inside leg was ready to come forwards, as you can see. And so because Souza's so flexible, he manages to get this foot on the inside of the hip, and the outside foot follows. And you can see his straight arm frames are just pushing on the knee, stopping Roberto from using his head to push the hips flat. And because of this hook, these hands, and this hook coming over the top, he ends up just doing a backward roll. Straight onto back. And this should be over. This should be over here. Souza should have won this, because all he has to do now is pull his hips back and down, flattening his feet down and flaring his knees to either side, and then Roberto goes splat. But he doesn't do this because Roberto's like really scrambling out of it, and instead of trying to gain the control, Souza sees an arm that's relatively loose and tries to go for the attack. Yeah, so instead of going for like an underhook and a off-centered long hook on the opposite side, can't remember what that's actually called, but I call that off-centered back control. He feels like he's coming forwards, and then he just goes for the arm, as you can see. So he's hooked on now. So Roberto's arm is through here. Souza's arm is through like this, and he's got like a figure 4 lock over the top. In my opinion, he should have used this hook to flare and sit Roberto down onto his bum, and then use this hook to get the underhook on the arm, maintain back control, and go from there. But he sees the opportunity, and he goes for it. And this looks tight now. This looks really, really tight. I don't think I would get out of this, but I'm not a world level black belt, so there's that. And what Souza's doing is, you see this hook in here. This is really nice. this hook in here is extending to start straining this grip on the ankle, and as he's like doing a torquing rotation as he's pulling around the corner. So you like do a shoulder lock armbar, and this is very tight, and he gets the arm almost free. He's like wrenching, and what Roberto's doing on the other side is he's starting to control the bottom leg. Because he's controlling the bottom leg, Souza loses all of the leverage, and so you can see how he's trying to like tuck in for the inversion again. And then he goes back because he has the momentum, and then this is like this battle between controlling this leg and controlling this grip, basically. And oh, that's tight. That is tight armbar. So Souza manages to scoop the arm, and then like uses the opposite hand to push the knee out of the way, as you can see, and then he gets it super tight. This looks rubbish because look at the orientation of the thumb. It's directly over the orientation of the elbow, but the only thing that's saving Roberto now is the control of that outside leg with the hand, right? And so because of this, he can put weight through his ribs onto the top leg, step this leg free and out over the top, rotating with the armbar because he had control over that bottom arm. Now he has to commit. He has to keep committing over the top because this looks tight. Look, his elbow's in here and Roberto's like wrenching. And remember, he has enough power to push a 100 plus kilos off the top of him with a bridge. There's 150 plus kilos of torque going through that elbow joint right now. And so Souza's not stopping. You know, he ain't stopping. He's going. He commits, goes. He has to roll, so he commits, and then he's straight away up and in because he wants to get his hips free and around the corner in order to allow less torque on that elbow. So he needs his head out the way so his hips can come around the corner. And then he uses his opposite hand to push the leg free. Souza's trying to come over the top with the leg, and it's just not working. And so he goes, oh, if I would, he's going to be feeling that tomorrow. You know, he's going to be feeling that tomorrow. That's hyperextending now, and he just face planted the shit out of the mats. He just face planted absolute shit out of the mats, and he just went. Roberto went forwards with the shoulder to allow any more room on that armbar, any more room at all. And you can see like how red Souza is. He's really putting everything he has into this. Let's see what happens next. And so Roberto, I don't think that this is quite on because his shoulder can keep going forwards, even though it looks tight as fuck. And it would probably tap me out. The shoulder can keep going forwards so that as the arm goes backwards, the shoulder goes forwards and it alleviates torque in the middle. Just a little bit. Enough for Roberto to keep moving for the defense. He steps over the top, and then as soon as he does, he can use, maybe didn't see that, but there was a slight rotation of his shoulder. And because of this, his shoulder can now come forwards when the wrist is being pushed forwards. So now as the wrist goes forwards, his shoulder comes out, alleviating torque in the middle. And he steps over the top, tries to, and Souza has to let go. So Souza bails, goes for a leg entanglement. Good thing to bail on that, but if I had to guess, he burnt a lot of juice. Like a lot of juice, trying to get that quick tap instead of controlling the back like you should. And he goes in for this calf slice, but Roberto's defending it really nicely with his left foot here, is pushing his right foot forwards. And he's like trying to go hips in, and so you can see how Roberto, even though he had the hips, is not able to collapse heel to bum, or bum to heel. And all of a sudden, Roberto's out of it, and Souza's tired. You can see in his body language now he's tired. And this is, I think, when the fight's over. Yeah, there's not nearly as much energy now. I think Roberto's reading this really nicely, and if I had to guess, so he goes around the corner. Sorry, we'll come back to what's Oh, what have I done? It's too far because of a 4-hour video. Sorry, guys. No, I knew there was a reason why I was looking at the using the key code, the mouse keys, not mouse keys, keyboard keys. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Brain. So this Souza's gone. Ugh. Because he's gone. Ugh, he's already started to lose mentally. Because he started to lose mentally, he's lost the match. Match is over now. There's still 8 minutes to go, more than 8 minutes to go. Roberto's not gassed, Souza is. You know, Souza's currently winning on points, but 8 minutes is a long way to go, you know. So we're here, and Souza tries to control to the outside. He like pushes the foot across and just pivots around the outside. See how his hand's on the inside though? He's like doing a really good job of controlling, because it seems like he loves his stack passes. So he gets underneath this leg and lifts. And now it's very, very hard for Souza to do much more than just get stacked. And it looks like to me that a lot of Roberto's style is to stack them over the top and then spin around the side. You know? Yeah, and so as he does a backward roll, he's waiting for this space to open up for his arm to go in. Now, all of a sudden, yeah, Roberto has to do like a Granby roll, but I think that this is now, Souza has to do a Granby roll, but this is Roberto's game. So he's ready for it, and he goes straight into like a knee cut pass, forcing Souza to use much more energy, and he tries to go for another knee cut pass. Souza used this knee as like a knee shield to push Roberto away. More energy, and you can see how Roberto just straight away controls the outside leg, passes, and tries to shuffle around the outside. And now he's going for exactly the same thing. He's controlling that bottom leg, high knee on the shoulder, high elbow, straight across the belly in here. Now, just 1 second. Sorry guys, I think I somehow increased the pointer speed of my mouse, so that's not very good. That's a bit better. That's better for me. This elbow across the top and high elbow allows Roberto to start going around the side, and he's really controlling this outside leg, but you see the distance between them. So even if Souza was managing to pull that arm in for a triangle, Roberto would be able to duck his head out, so it's not that much of a risk. Then he stacks up, and instead of taking the hand off, he commits to pushing the leg forward. And I've not really seen this setup, so this is a really nice, cool little detail. I might try and use this in my no-gi. And he makes Souza do a backward roll again, and he's just waiting for that opportunity on the outside to take us back. And he's going for like this is what I was talking about, what you should be doing before. It's like a super long hook and an under wrap on the opposite side. And then all of a sudden, he rolls because Souza tries to do a Granby roll, but it's too late. That's not good news. That's not good news for Souza. So Souza tries to roll, but he's gassing now. You know, he's gassing, and so he goes Roberto goes super long, uses the hook to encourage Souza over the top, and pulls with him. As soon as you see how he's like tight chest to shoulders, got deep underhook. Souza tries to stop Roberto's top hook from coming in, but Roberto just smashes in over the top of it. Not great for Souza. And then as soon as this happens, Souza straight away brings the arm out, as Roberto's going for double wrist control and like a choke type thing. One pulls the hand out because Souza now has to defend this and give up the back. Roberto goes for, he wants to get this top hand free so he can start either controlling the wrist or the opposite wrist. Yeah, so he pushes the top wrist down with the hand that he got free, so he can pass it into the bottom. And then straight away just hacks in, heel in on the elbow and drags down. Now that's really, really bad. It's really bad for Souza. controlling that bottom hook as well, like a 3-point triangle type guard is really quite nice too. And then Roberto gets that body lock in. That body lock cinches in the control. And now he can start using his opposite hand to control the wrist to free up his right hand for the choke. And we saw this with Gordon versus really famous person, Andre Galvao. There we go. And then, yeah, Souza didn't fight that nearly as much. So as soon as he gets this, smashes in on the choke, and you can see how Souza just kind of gave up there. He didn't really defend that. He was like put in a show of defending, but as I said before, as soon as that armbar didn't work and he burnt 90% of his juice, the fight were over. Fight were just over. And then Roberto gets the tap. And honestly, very well deserved win. Very well deserved win. I like his I like his hairstyle. He rocks the shit out of that, doesn't he? He looks like David versus Goliath. You know, he kind of looks like David. Very stereotypical. Curly hair type look. You know what I mean? I don't know what I'm saying. Point is, I like his hairstyle. I like his afro. Very well deserved win. What an absolute beast. He's going to be feeling that elbow in the morning, but honestly, it didn't break, and it's probably worth the cost of a gold medal. Very good sportsmanship. He's not like, he's obviously pumped as he should be, but he's not screaming and waving his hands around like a dickhead. You know, it's a fuckwit thing to do, really, but he's not doing that. So, very humble in victory. Very stoked. And very good jiu-jitsu. And really, what lost it for Souza, when we come back, was this decision. Here. Instead of going for a back control and finishing it, he was winning. All he had to do was bring his hips down, and then maintain control and burn Roberto out. He didn't. He went for an armbar, and normally that would probably work because my guess is he's on steroids, and he can get away with bad decisions because his strength plays a huge factor. But when you're against someone like Roberto, who is allegedly natural, at least he says he is, who has really good technique and really good defenses, strength doesn't mean shit. Well, it means a lot, but like if that's all you have and you have subpar technique, you're not going to win. You're just not going to win. And then you burn through all of your juice in 2 minutes and then you lose. So this decision here is what lost it for Souza. And probably an over-reliance on bullshit like this. This exact type thing. An over-reliance on this type of escape is exactly what lost it for him as well. Instead of getting under hooks and then moving himself using like shrimps and things like that. So like his technique backs up his strength doesn't back up his technique. Roberto's strength very much backs up very good technique, and that's how it should be. And I love seeing this. I love seeing it when just skill outweighs strength. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I tried to keep that short because I knew that this could go on for like an hour. If you enjoyed, please let me know. Please let me know which matches you'd like to do. But if not, I'll probably just keep on covering one of these matches at a time, honestly, in this video, because it seems pretty cool to cover that. And I'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much, guys.